Good morning, everyone. Boker. Thank you, Rabbi Jonah. That was great. So today's session is the culmination of the series of activities that's gone on here at Shemirat this year called Heart, Mind, Body, and Soul. And we are made of all these things. We can't be complete without any one of them. And society preaches about being healthy, but most often they're talking about the right weight to be at, or the next thing to do with your body that will make you slimmer or more beautiful, or whatever that is. But they don't actually talk about the importance of being healthy in every way possible. So what we most often don't realize is that we can't be healthy bodily if we're not healthy in the spirit or in the psyche. And so it's on our whole being that we have to focus, and that we truly take care of this gift that God gave us, as Rabbi Jonah said. For it is a gift. And today we're exploring the concept of renewal and realignment of the totality of ourselves, mind, body, and spirit together. So we'll start with the body, and if you look at your song sheet, you'll see Peleg Elohim is the second song there. The meaning of these words, Peleg Elohim Male Mayim. We are vessels of God, full of water. And you know that we are actually 60% made of water. So that's pretty important. And the Torah itself is called Mayim Chaim. So the two best gifts that God gave us were our bodies and the Torah. And both of those have that life-giving element. Mayim Chaim, of being created, of the Torah being the waters, the living waters of our lives, and our life-giving body full of that water that we need so much. So, Peleg Elohim, repeat after me. Peleg Elohim.
Peleg Elohim.
Male Mayim.
Male Mayim.
And this is a chant that you can practice when you wake up in the morning. It's just about how we get in touch with ourselves at the very deepest core of that life-giving being that we are. So, Peleg Elohim, Male Mayim, Peleg Elohim, Male Mayim. Try that. Peleg Elohim, Male Mayim, Peleg Elohim, Male Mayim again. Peleg Elohim, Male Mayim, Peleg Elohim, Male Mayim, Peleg Elohim, Male Mayim, Peleg Elohim, Male Mayim. Try that. Peleg Elohim, Male Mayim, 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 Peleg Elohim, Male Mayim. In our Torah readings lately, we've been talking about the building of the tabernacle. This tabernacle was built and decorated with the utmost care. It was, after all, the place meant for God to dwell for the first time amongst his people. Then the temple was built later in Jerusalem to be a more stable and everlasting presence, a symbol of our eternal relationship with God. That too was created so that every detail, every rock, every furnishing would celebrate God's glory and magnificence. Just as we are created in the same way. every cell. However, we had to go and mess it up. So now we don't have a temple. We no longer have that physical place to go where we, as an entire people, can find God. So, we are expected to find God within ourselves. Prayer has become the medium for which we talk to God and communicate our desires, our faith, our struggles, and our thanks. Each one of us, is a miracle. And if you think for a moment, as Rabbi Jonah was saying before, of how we're made, I don't know about you, but most machines are a mystery to me. So many little pieces and intricate systems, the code that has to be written to get all the programming just right, the wiring and the tiny connections, the ones and zeros of it all, that when put together turn into some incredible video game or an entire banking system made up of just these tiny little ones and zeros. And you realize that we work much the same way. We are full of wires and intricate code, pieces that must fit together just right, down to the battery and the off and on switch. We are incredibly built, miraculous pieces of machinery. We all have the same insides, the big organs, the muscles, the nervous system, all the little capillaries and the tiny little cells, the neurons, the pluses and minuses. But outside, we are each as individual as snowflakes. And that's something to appreciate and to rejoice in. It's amazing. But we know all too well what happens when we don't take care of that body as we are commanded to. And we are commanded to take care of this vessel that allows us to live and to breathe and to walk around. And we were given this holy covering from God himself. It is not ours to take advantage of. We are commanded to take care of the gifts that God has given us, and we are created B'Tselem Elohim, in God's image. These are the most precious gifts: the mind, the body, and the soul. And God is supposed to dwell inside each of us now. So the question begs to be asked: what kind of place do you have God living in? Have you made your place suitable for God to inhabit? And have you made yourself a living temple? If not, what can you do to make that change? If you go to your song sheets again, the song Hineni. Hineni B'Tselem Elohim. Here I am in the image of God. Mekavim, mekavim, nishmati tehorahi. My soul is pure. And we can say this when we wake up every morning. Baruch atah Adonai, wondrous source of healing. Baruch atah Adonai. We thank you and praise your name. So repeat after me, please. Hineni B'Tselem Elohim, Hineni B'Tselem Elohim, Mekavim, 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 Nishmati tehorahi, Nishmati tehorahi, Hineni B'Tselem Elohim, Mekavim, mekavim, Nishmati tehorahi, Hineni B'Tselem Elohim, Mekavim, mekavim, Nishmati tehorahi. Baruch atah Adonai, wondrous source of healing. Baruch atah Adonai, we thank you and praise your name. Baruch atah have. May I be blessed to sing your song. Try that. Oh God, this body is all I have. May I be blessed to sing your song. Again, oh God, this body is all I have. May I be blessed to sing your song. Baruch atah Adonai, wondrous source of healing. Baruch atah Adonai, we thank you and praise your name. Baruch atah Adonai, wondrous source of healing. Baruch atah Adonai, we thank you and praise your name. Health is not just within the body, but it truly begins in the mind. And unlike a computer's mainframe and hard drive built by human hands, we still have no idea how the human brain really works and why we only use such a small capacity of it. In my opinion, the mystery and the beauty of that makes us even more astounding. However, we've learned that the mind is extremely strong. If we're not strong there, then we cannot attain strength anywhere else. It is from the psyche that we get the power to turn away from the things that'll hurt us, to keep with the diet, resolve to exercise, to know right from wrong, and to keep on that path. With a strong mind, you can accomplish almost anything. God gave us free will and the ability to think and to rationalize. However, he couldn't just turn us loose and we would know how to live a good life. Human beings are way too fragile for that. So he gave us the Torah, Mayim Chaim. For the Jews, the Torah is the brain trust of our people. In it, we find our strength and our resolve. We learn from the history of our people's choices and struggles to walk the straight path, to choose right from wrong. And so we thank God for giving us our minds that we can intellectualize, doubt, struggle, question, glory in knowledge, and for the Torah, whose text we revere. We must not waste this gift of our intellect, but to be strong, we have to continue to practice positive self-dialogue, gratitude, and praise. That just as we give to God, we need to give to ourselves. So, as we work to maintain our bodies, we must also do the same for our minds. Again, if you turn to your song sheets, Beyado, Craig Todman. We'll start with talking about the soul in a moment. The English here says, "My soul I give to you, my spirit in your hands. Draw me near, I shall not fear, safely in your hands." It's a fairly good translation of the Hebrew. Repeat after me. Beyado, Afki Druchi, Be'et Ishan, Ve'ayra, Ve'im Ruchi, Geviati, Adonai Li, Velo Ira. That Adonai is mine and I will not have fear. Velo Ira. Okay, it's not a great translation, but it's a really creative and beautiful translation of what the words are trying to say. That our soul is important, and that we give everything to God, so we can be closer to Him. Song goes like this. Beyado Avki Druchi, Beyado Avki Druchi, Be'et Ishan Ve'ayra, Be'et the soul. In the Parsha B'Haladcha, which is several weeks down the road, we learn of the menorah, the candelabra that was put into the Mishkan in the Holy Temple. The menorah had 7 branches. One of the major daily services of Aaron, the high priest, was kindling the candelabra. The verse in the Torah, however, uses an unusual expression for kindling the lamps. It says, when you will raise up the lamps, rather than the more common expression, to light the lamps. The famous commentator Rashi explains that the priest had to coax the flame until it burned on its own. Rabbi Shemirat of Wendi, a Hasidic rabbi, founder of Chabad, explains that each of the 7 lamps of the candelabra corresponds to one of the 7 holy character traits, which are chesed, love, benevolence, gevurah, restraint, awe, and fear, tiferet, harmony and synthesis, netzach, competitiveness, hod, devotion, yesod, communicativity, and malchut, regality and receptiveness. The Lubavitcher Rebbe points out that one of the conclusions we must draw from this is that there are really several different paths in Judaism. There are 7 different ways, and we're not all the same. We're not all meant to be the same. Just as there are 7 basic character traits, so too there are 7 legitimate and valid ways to be a candelabra, a luminary. You don't have to be a carbon copy of someone else to be a good person, to be a good Jew. You don't have to look the same, act the same, think the same way as the person next to you. The critical issue is, are you kindled? Are you lit up from the inside out? And if you're lit up and you're illuminating your surroundings as a candelabra of Judaism, then your way is valid. The Torah teaches us this by the fact that the candelabra does not have 1 branch, but 7, so that everybody can be themselves and serve God according to their own personality, their own way. You don't have to act the same or be the same as the person next to you to be living a good life, to be living a valid Jewish life. And I think that's extremely important for us to take home with us today. If you are a luminary, if you're able to light up from the inside out with whatever it is that you are doing, however it is that you are living, then your way is valid. And that lighting up comes from within. It comes from the soul. That's what you have to give to people. So, again, we turn to our song sheets and we sing Elohai Neshama Shenatata Bi Tehorahi. This is one of those phrases that you can sing when you wake up in the morning or say to yourself, whatever you feel comfortable with. It's in the beginning of your prayer book.
It's the next paragraph, right after the one we did on page 4.
Exactly. And it says, the soul that you, my God, have given me is pure. That you have the ability every time you wake up in the morning to have a clean slate, to start the day fresh, to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And that doesn't necessarily mean physically. It means, what are you going to give to people today? What are you going to give to yourself today? So repeat after me, please. Elohai.
Elohai.
Nishama.
Nishama.
Shenatata Bi Tehorahi. Elohai, Elohai, try that. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, 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 Shenatata Bi, Shenatata Bi, Shenatata A couple of years ago, I was at a session on High Holidays at my annual Cantor's Assembly Convention, and one of the presenters of that session asked us this question. If someone you haven't seen for a while comes up to you and says, "You look great, you haven't changed a bit," is that a compliment or an insult? What do you guys think?
Compliment.
Compliment, okay? Anybody have a different view?
It depends.
Depends, okay. Now, right, it depends, but many of us do take this as a compliment, right? Because maybe change is scary, and maybe change isn't always positive, right? We want to keep our youthful looks and our stamina and our energy, and we want people to recognize that about us. But what if we looked at this in a different way? When we stand in front of God at High Holidays this coming year, would we truly want him to say, "Wendi, you haven't changed a bit"? Now I know that I make resolutions actually twice a year. I use the secular New Year too because I have to keep on track. But most of them have to do with health in some way or another, right? We want to lose more weight, we want to exercise, we want to treat ourselves better, and I'm no different. I think I want to be thinner, I want to be stronger, I want to be more positive, I want to be more grateful, I want to be healthier throughout my entire being. So what if I stood there and had to hear those words and know that they were true? That I hadn't changed a bit since last year. Would those words still make me happy? Would they make you happy? It's an interesting question to ask, right? You haven't changed a bit. You look great. But what if you didn't accomplish anything that you wanted to? So, those are questions I want you to take home with you. And in summary of this concept, we're all created the same, right? B'Tselem Elohim, in God's image. However, there is a divine spark within each of us. And we can be constantly reminded of this fact when we look at our bodies. And we're going to use our bodies right now. Okay? So I'm going to ask all of you to stand up, please. Rabbi Jonah's not going to do it. Okay. Okay. So we're using our Yud Hey Vav Hey, seeing that we are truly created in God's image. Okay? We're going to use our bodies a little bit. Okay? So the first letter of God's name is what?
Hey.
Yud. Yud, right?
Yeah.
Yud. So we see Yud in our intellect, in our minds. Okay? So this is the sign that we do for Yud. We go across the head and down the face. Across the head and down the face. All right? And as you're doing that, keep doing it. We see the Yud on our head. As we trace it, we are grateful for the ability to understand, to think, to create, to process from right from wrong, to engage with others in thoughtful ways. We are the only beings in the world that can do so many of these amazing things. And we are grateful. We use this time with the Yud to think about how we could use our thoughts better in our own lives and in the lives of others. We understand that words have power and that we need to think before we talk, so as to give words of encouragement and put positive thoughts out into the universe. So you do this when you wake up in the morning. This is a great practice just to stretch out a little bit and to really think about your bodies and how powerful they are. And you can do it as often as you need to put that thought in there, positive thinking for myself and for others. Okay? Hey, we continue down the body with hey, and hey looks like this. Across our heart, and then down our bodies. Across our heart, down our bodies. The heart, as we trace this letter, which goes across our shoulders and down our arms, we understand that our heart is our guide in so much of what we do, and many of our hearts need healing. Whether it's from a new injury or an old one, we acknowledge that we acknowledge that hurt and look further down to our hands. What do our hands do? What is it that our hands can do? Express. Yeah. They're very expressive. What else do they do? Manipulate. They lift. They carry. They give a pat on the back. They give a slap across the face. They are powerful. We can do so much with them. And it's important that we focus on what we can do to help others with our hands, to help ourselves with our hands, to be good and meaningful and purposeful with our hands. Okay, so we do across the heart, remembering how much good we do with our hearts, and down the sides, and remembering that our hands have purpose, right? Vav. We look to our spine. What does our vav look like? What is the purpose of our vav? Our spine.
Strength.
Support.
What?
Support.
Support. Excellent. Strength. Support. What else? What else does it do? This is where we get our resolve, right? Our strength and our resolve. The spine holds us straight and tall. It reminds us of our tough nature and our strong morals. It reminds us of our ability to take care of ourselves, right? Our tenacity, our strength, our purpose, the strength that God gives us. That's where the resolve comes from, our vav. So we have our yud, our thoughts, positive thinking, our hearts. We do so much good with them. Our hands, how powerful they can be. And our vav, our resolve and our strength to take care of ourselves and to be strong when we need it. Okay? And finally, we do our second hey. This comes across and down our legs as far as you can go. Don't go any further than that. Cross and down your legs out. And what does this mean? You're going across to your legs, right? This is kind of your stomach area, which we're all so proud of, and down our legs. What do our legs do for us?
Keep you upright.
Keep you upright. What else do they do? Walking, right? Can't get very far without them. What else? They support, as you said before, right? But these, realizing that you, just as you can take care of yourself, you have support in your life, right? And you find those places where you can get it. Whether that be God, your family, your friends, whatever it is, it would be really hard to get through what life throws at us without having that support. Right? So we remember our legs. We remember that we need to be supportive just as we seek that support for ourselves. Right? And remember, a little plug, that here at Shari Tefillah, you can find that support. Right? You can find the friends. You can find the help you need. Okay? So we do your thoughts, positive thinking, doing good in the world, your heart, how good you can be, your hands, how helpful they can be, and across to your legs, and how strong, oh, your bub, forgot about the bub, forgot about the bub, must be strong, right, for ourselves and for others, and our support group, okay? So please use this. It's very centering. And I do it when I get up in the morning, and it doesn't take long. Sometimes I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, I know what I'm doing. And I get it, okay? And sometimes it just takes a long time for me to put myself in that place. And sometimes I take longer in some parts than others, right? Sometimes I need to remember, yes, I'm supported. Yes, I can be a support. I have that strength today. I can do it, all right? Sometimes I have to think, I need my positive thoughts today because I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, right? Ugh, erase it, right? So I want you to think, you may be seated. I want you to think, good, head, thoughtfulness. Hey, hearts and hands, heartful and helpful. Vav, vertical, strength and resolve. Hey, legs, love and support. Okay? So, yud, what do we think of? Thoughtfulness. Everybody say it. Thoughtfulness. Hey, heartful and helpful. Say it.
Heartful and helpful.
Vav, strength and resolve.
Strength and resolve.
Hey, love and support.
Hey, love and support.
And support. That is what we are looking for. So, to get us, what time is it?
10 off.
10 off. All right. So, I want you, this didn't start off to be a motivational speech, by the way, but it ended up that way for me, and I just really feel like I have to impart all of my thoughts to you, okay? So, I want you to do this, and we all need this. We all do. That's why you're here. 5 steps, at least once a week, when you look in the mirror. Some of us don't look in the mirror at all anymore. We all need to look in the mirror, okay? Number 1, I want you to wonder what I would look like if I truly accepted the image staring back at me. Work on that for 5 seconds, making a list in your head about the things you're most proud of that you've done this week, the most proud of who you are, and look in that mirror and say that list to yourself in your head, okay? I truly accept all of this image in the mirror, all of who I am, okay? And then 2, I want you to smile, a real and unself-conscious smile, and say to yourself, I might not like everything about how I look today, but I am at my most beautiful version of myself when I like who I am, and it shows. So what you say to yourself is, I am an image of God, worthy of God's love, and the love and respect of all those around me. And that's step 2. I am an image of God. I am beautiful, and you, for real, smile at yourself in the mirror, okay? Wrinkles, so what? They came from laughing, right? All right, so, and then, okay, so maybe you have that extra in the middle, and you have the stretch marks, okay, women, but you earned them. How did you earn them? You earned them from years of making babies and sustaining them with your bodies and loving them completely, right? Men, you did the same. You picked them up. You carted them from here to there. So maybe your back hurts a little bit, and maybe you don't have the strength that you thought you did, but you earned all of that with good, healthy work for your kids and for your families. And that doesn't mean that all of this has to stay that way, right? But you can appreciate where it came from. That all of it came from a place of love. It came from a place of caring for others. Sometimes, and most of the time, before yourselves. that's not anything to be ashamed of, right? You can love that part of you in a different way and know that you're still going to take care of it, okay? So while you're looking in the mirror, you're acknowledging that the good that's been done, and you're going to pat yourself on the back, okay? Third, we resolve to take care of the things that maybe we don't love so much and make them better. We resolve a little at a time. It's not going to be a miracle, right? A little at a time to do what we need to do to create a place within ourselves for God to live. You wanted God to live inside of you. What kind of space would you create? What would you be proud of? Okay? 4, we are proud of our resolve and our new resolutions, and even if we failed at them today, before we realize that today is a new day, we are in charge of our own decisions today. We will make them, and maybe yesterday wasn't a great day, and maybe we had some chocolate cake, and maybe we indulged a little bit, but today's a new day. We accept that, we move on. It's good. And we will appreciate the miracles that God has given us, and we will use those miracles for good. And finally, you smile a real, genuine smile. Some of us wonder what we look like when we smile, right? Because we haven't looked at ourselves in a while. And we certainly haven't smiled at ourselves, maybe, in a while. And often we save that genuine smile for everyone else but ourselves. So today, you try smiling at yourself, that special smile, the one that you give when you're truly happy. And I bet you'll see what everyone else sees. And all that other stuff, sweep it away. When you give that 1,000-watt smile, the world lights up. And that's all people see. And that's all you should see. And I'm talking like you don't accept yourselves. Many of you do, right? Many of you are out there in the world and you're accepting yourselves and you're good with it. And that's great. And you need to share that with all of us, okay? This is God's light shining through you and working in the world. And it's that smile and that beauty that you can give to other people. Nothing works like that to change your mood and the thoughts and the mood of those around you. It makes you feel lighter. It makes you feel better about life and better about yourself. And there's truth to that adage that laughter makes the best medicine, right? They say that that's why Jews have always appreciated comedy so much, right? You have to find a way to smile when the going gets rough. And all this, of course, might sound cheesy, but it's important and it's necessary. And when you reach those days when you need it, it's there for you. You may not need it today, but you'll remember it down the road. So my final wish for you is that you don't squander the gifts given to you by God. Loving yourself, B'Tselem Elohim, and understanding that you and everyone around you is a walking, living, breathing masterpiece of God can make you look at the world in such a different, more respectful, more positive light. And this is nothing new that I'm saying to you right now. This is thoughts that have been going on forever. But we need reminders all the time, constantly. So our final exercise, and I want you to do it, try to do it, okay, is that I want you to look straight into the eyes of the people directly around you, and I want you to say these words, okay? Try to do it. You are made in the image of God, and I value you.
Supposed to look at me.
Come on. You are made in the image of God, and I value you. Try it. You are made in the image of God, and I value you. And even if you just said that to yourselves right now, that's just as important. Okay? Let's try it one more time. And You are made in the image of God, and I value you. And you take that home with you. Okay? Thank you all so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed it and got something worthy from it. And I will be posting this, or I'll email it out to the congregation for the Yod Hey Vav Hey activity.
I can keep this.
Yes, please. Please keep it. Please keep it.